it's a lot easier to not own up to something, to be a coward, to run away from the truth, and as a result, leave you stuck and leave you trapped inside of a trauma bond. This is what a narcissist does over and over and over again. And when you believe the lies, when you believe the projections, when you believe all of those cords that are wrapped around you, you get stuck to a place where you're addicted. Are you addicted to him? The toxic guy that's in your life right here, right now. Maybe it's this piece that you've cycled away from him. You've broken up, you've gone no contact, you've gotten free, and then you've gone back. Maybe it's been where he's left you and then he's come back into your life. Maybe you've left and then you've asked him to come back. You've reached out, you've stalked his social media. Maybe there's all these different pieces that make you feel when you sit back and you look at the facts of the situation that you're crazy. I want to tell you right now that you're not crazy at all. But what you're dealing with in this moment is probably what we call a trauma bond. You see, this piece of trauma bond gets you to where you feel addicted, where you feel stuck, where you feel confused and lost inside the relationship, and you get to a place where you feel like you have to keep cycling back to this person over and over and over again. Maybe it's because he already defined your worth, he already defined your value, he already told you who you were or what you were allowed to do. But ultimately, this piece of the trauma bond ends up forming these bonds and these ties that end up tying you back to the toxic guy in your life right here, right now. Produces these feelings that make you feel addicted, that make you feel just trapped, that make you feel stuck, make you feel like if you walked out of the relationship, you wouldn't know what to do. You don't even know who you are anymore. So what would you do without this person? It makes you feel like you're incapable of making decisions, makes you feel like you are the crazy one. So many things get wrapped up inside of this piece of the trauma bond. We're going to break it down in a couple different ways today. If you guys are new here, my name is Ben Taylor. I'm a self-aware narcissist on this channel to provide awareness of narcissistic abuse. I help liberate women that are trapped inside of toxic relationships, help them move from victim to survivor to thriver, helping them actually move into a place that they're able to bring back their confidence, their clarity, and their certainty of who they are again, understanding from this perspective what's happened, how to actually heal, and how to move forward with it. We have hundreds of women who have broken free mentally and emotionally and physically to find themselves liberated. It's this piece that we have to look at first called the trauma bond. If we don't deal with the trauma bond first, nothing else changes. Nothing else gets better. I want you to imagine for a moment that you broke your leg. And in breaking your leg, you decided, I'm not going to go to the doctor. I'm not going to worry about getting it cast on. I don't have time for that. And so you just decide to walk on it. Eventually, walking on it, it will get to a place, to a level that it gets healed. To a certain level where it might still cause pain. You might have a limp. It might kind of like feel bad, or you might have twinges in it before it storms, but there's still going to be this piece where it's not going to fully heal. And the reason why it isn't going to fully heal is because simply it hasn't been taken care of. Like the actual break, the separation that happened in the bone, the actual fracture that was there didn't get set correctly. So as a result, everything you're building on top of it still is hurting you in a lot of different ways. This is what happens when we deal with the trauma bond. And oftentimes what you see inside of counseling and what you see inside of therapy, where counseling and therapy will focus on a certain thing and a certain aspect of it to help a person grow, but oftentimes it won't actually help them heal to the level they need to. It'd be like you're trying to go to the gym with a broken leg. Yeah, you can eventually grow and build muscle on it, but if it's broken, it's still broken. It's still not going to help you. We have to re-break the leg. We have to actually set it correctly. Then after it heals, we can start putting on actual muscle onto the leg. This oftentimes is the approach that happens inside of trauma bond, inside of people dealing with the trauma bond, how to fix it, how to work through it. People normally don't dive in deep into the trauma bond. So what is it? What does it actually look like? How does it actually break down? If we talk about trauma bond in a couple different ways, I normally narrow it down into 3 aspects. Now, is there more? 100%. There's more things we could talk about trauma bond. I'm just going to give you the main 3 that I see and that I believe on a consistent basis with hundreds of people we talk to. This is the main problem. When we're dealing with the trauma bond, one of the first aspects that's dealing with this piece of the trauma bond is this idea of cognitive dissonance. Now, cognitive dissonance at its base level is just holding 2 opposing thoughts at the same time. There's a dissonance between which thought do I do, what do I think, where do I go, what happens. This could be as simple as you driving and you having to make a decision. You're like, I don't remember. Is it right or is it left? Okay, in that moment, there's a brief second of cognitive dissonance, like, I don't know which one I need to choose. Like, it's almost like this indecision piece, or sometimes people refer to it as being stuck in limbo. When you're stuck in this type of limbo state, especially when we bring it into a relationship, this makes life confusing. This makes life feel crazy over a period of time, simply because you don't know what decision you need to make. Understand for a moment that a narcissist only needs to keep you confused to still have control over you. That's it. He doesn't have to go through elaborate schemes. He doesn't have to come up with this elaborate lie. He doesn't have to concoct a whole different narrative or story about himself or different version about himself. All he has to do is keep you confused enough that you don't make a decision, that you don't do anything, that you stay stuck in limbo, that you waffle back and forth, and he ultimately has control over you. So when we're dealing with narcissistic abuse, we're dealing oftentimes with the simple initial piece of, wait a second, does he love me or does he not? Does he care about me, but he doesn't show it? He says he cares, but he's cheating on me. So what do I believe? And this cognitive dissonance puts you in this place of limbo. Now, normal life, it's not that bad. Like normal life, it's not that bad of a thing to actually deal with. But inside of a toxic relationship, you're dealing with this 24/7. It's not like it's just once in a while. It is a constant piece of your reality. A constant piece of your reality that makes you feel crazy, that makes you feel insane walking through this piece of dealing with cognitive dissonance. So cognitive dissonance is one of the first pieces. It keeps you stuck, keeps you in limbo mode. One of the other aspects is intermittent reinforcement. And with the intermittent reinforcement, these are the highs and lows. These are the ups and downs, the great moments and the bad moments. You already know about this, and you might have referred to us as being on the roller coaster of this relationship. It's all over the place. You never know if the relationship is coming or going, if it is growing or if it's dying. You never have a clue. And this is simply to be able to keep you on edge, to keep you stuck, again, for a long period of time. Because what happens is you start to get ready to pull away. Now, a narcissist can sometimes sense this just energetically, or he can sense this because he knows the patterns and the habits of you. And as he senses it, he realizes you're starting to pull away. So let me do something nice. Let me love bomb you. Let me gaslight you. Let me do something that's going to make you feel better in the moment when in reality, it's not true. And so oftentimes a narcissist will feature fake. We'll try to give you things. We'll try to make you feel better. We'll try to connect on some level, not a deep level, just a surface level, to try to get what they want. Inside of this, it produces this aspect of a roller coaster. Highs and lows, great moments and bad moments. Great moments to keep you, and then they revert back to who they actually are. The bad, awful moments that happen. Now, consider for a moment that when we're talking about a trauma bond, it is made up of the lies. It is made up of the stories that he's been telling you and that he's been telling other people and that you've been telling yourself because of him. And so when these lies actually get laid around you, consider it being like a rope. It's like a rope that comes out of the narcissist's hand and extends around. It goes around you and it comes back to him. Okay, so it's like half circle that he's holding on to. Then this trauma bond piece is him establishing a lie. Maybe that you're not good enough. Maybe that you can't do this without him. Maybe that no one's going to love a single mom with kids. Maybe that you're not capable of what you need to do. Maybe that you're bad at making decisions when you run a multi-million-dollar business. All of these things, he's going to continue to have these ropes that continue to go around you of these lies, of these stories that you believe. And he's going to start pulling and pulling and pulling. And this is where the bond gets tightened and tightened so much that you're not sure, how do I actually break free? How do I actually move past this piece that right now leaves me completely stuck, completely trapped? This is where we build the trauma bond. The trauma bond is built through the lies, through the stories, through the manipulations, through the beliefs that the narcissist projects on you and uses to pull you back, uses to hoover you. Then you're stuck in a place of the ups and the downs, of the cognitive dissonance, of not knowing what to actually believe and what's actually true. Now, in order for us to start breaking the trauma bond, in order to start breaking the lies and the stories that have been placed upon you, we have to get down to what are the facts of the situation. You see, facts start to break through the cognitive dissonance, start to destroy it completely because you're wondering, does he love me, but he doesn't show it? Well, maybe he's just having a bad day. Okay, well, let's look at the facts of that. Okay, it can't be all bad days for the past 365. Something is different. He's cheating on you. Okay, now we actually have some facts. Okay, he's not demonstrating love. Okay, now we have some facts. There's no evidence of love. Okay, now we have some facts. We're dealing with facts. We want to put people into a place of facts. If you do not have facts, you will not have clarity. If you don't have clarity, you will stay stuck. You see what I mean? The trauma bond has to be broken with truth. This is the biggest thing that narcissists will not be honest about, is simply who they are and what's going on. Because it's a lot easier to not own up to something, to be a coward, to run away from the truth, and as a result, leave you stuck and leave you trapped inside of a trauma bond. This is what a narcissist does over and over and over again. And when you believe the lies, when you believe the projections, when you believe all of those cords that are wrapped around you, you get stuck to a place where you're addicted. You feel like you can't live without them. You move away, you disconnect, and then you start pain shopping, looking them up on social media because you don't know how to regulate your feelings. You don't know how to regulate your emotions. You don't know how to process it, how to work through it. You're left wondering, like, I don't know if I could heal from this. I don't know if it's possible. I don't know if I can live without him. Even though, logically, it's toxic. Logically, he's not good for you. But emotionally, you're confused, you're lost, and you still want to go back many times on many days. If this is you right now and you're struggling with this, I want you to go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough because I want to help you heal and move forward. We've got a video for you there to be able to show you just what I do and how I want to communicate to help you understand that we have to break your frame of reality of what's currently going on. We have to help you heal from the trauma bond. We have to reduce and eradicate the triggers in your life that he's using to control you so that you can grow, change, and develop and transform into the person you're called to be.